this characteristic are much more likely to appear in human brains that have Alzheimer's disease. So, in summary, we're able to do these kinds of longitudinal observations of neurons. We can get this extraordinary insight into the effects of this pathology, but there's a lot of questions we have about how this works and why it works. If a neuron's death isn't immediate, it really poses this question, maybe we can do something about it. And if the other neurons around it can tell that a neuron is going to die in the near future, there must be some kind of signature, something that we can latch onto, so that we would be able to tell this as well, and potentially develop new methods similar to the MRI or PET scan methods that exist that let us measure the abundance of degeneration happening in the moment, rather than waiting for sufficient brain degeneration to happen where parts of your brain have shrunk, where clinical symptoms start to manifest. So thanks to CART, we've started to put together what I think is a really wonderful way to address these questions. And our goal is to understand what's going on here. We're going to try to define which populations of neurons show these changes, see that it happens in brain regions that we think are vulnerable, see how it changes with age, see how it changes with co-pathologies. And our real hope is not only will we be able to make new ways for observing neurons that are imminently dying in a living human brain, but also use these as a launching point to test new interventions where we can stop what it is that's causing these neurons to die, rather than focusing on the pathology and focusing on what's going wrong, see if we can cut the chain closer to the source of what we want to prevent. So here I just wanted to show you a couple of pretty images for how we can do this. On the bottom left, you can see that is an entire mouse brain, and we're able to label it with a bunch of different things that gives us this really incredible view in the structure of the brain. And on the bottom right, you can see a similarly sized piece of the human brain. And with both of these together, we can also make sure that what we're doing in mice translates to what we're trying to look at in people, and make sure we're not making the mistake of dressing a mouse up in a costume and assuming that it can play football. And we've also developed some wonderful chemical technologies that let us label the proteins both inside and outside these cells that we can extract and use a technology called mass spectrometry on, so we can try to figure out what it is that's underlying these changes that we can start to target for treatments. So with that, I would like to, again, thank all of you at CART for supporting this project, supporting me, and the people in my lab, Regina, Victor, Gina, and Haoyan, as well as a lot of the people who've helped me along this way, especially Brad Hyman and Rachel Bennett, who were absolutely essential in both teaching me about how to approach Alzheimer's disease and making sure that these projects move forward. Thank you.